everybody. All right, so today let's talk about this. Enough of the games. Restore the Snyderverse. You already know the business. Hit that subscribe if you're new to the channel. Share the video and all that good stuff. Because today we're gonna talk about this. Like this is the week finally that I've been talking about, and here we are. And the fun and games and everything ends because everything that they're doing over at WB is just completely a mess. And this whole Superman that's coming out on Friday is just a mess. Everybody's starting to talk about it, especially now that they lifted the embargo. Everybody's right now saying how they really feel. And we know that Variety put up a post over the weekend, and it looks like WB came down on them and told them to remove it. They took it away, and now they're putting what they really feel, stuff like that. So, with that being said, you know, honestly, this is a completely, it's insane. You could see right now, straight up, that the James Gunn shills are triggered, and I love it. I love it because this is exactly proving to them that we have been right all along, and they love to blame us. They always love to blame us, and honestly, at this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. It's just to me, it's now a compliment. And seeing all these James Gunn shills having a meltdown, and we're and we're straight up few days away from the actual release, that's telling you everything. Merchandise is not selling, it's on clearance. And notice that the movie's not even out yet. The movie comes out on Friday. We're still counting today, or what's left of today, Monday. We still have 5 days to go. If you want to take away today, we got 4 days to go. That's a lot of hours. And the James Gunn fans are just having, they're just completely going backwards. And honestly, it doesn't matter, honestly, because now by us doing this just proves that this is what people want. This is exactly what we want. And like completely it's just showing you. Oh yeah, don't worry about him. I deleted his comment. Whoever's coming in here to troll, I'm straight up just deleting and blocking. So try me. Go ahead and just try me, to everybody that wants to do that. This is just telling you straight up. Fans have had enough. The general audience is tired, and right now they're having that premiere in California, in LA, I think, with the premiere for Superman. And I've been straight up putting posts on the WB, that they're putting for the Superman. Restore the Snyderverse. That's what it is, baby. It's all coming down to that, and that's how we need to keep it. This week we need to go harder than ever. If you thought we were going hard for the Snyder cut, and we're really going hard for that, that's nothing. What we're doing this week, and I'm proud to see how many people are using the hashtag of restore the Snyderverse. It's beautiful, and this is, for you, each and every one of you that's out there, because that's what we need. We need to send the message to WB loud and clear, and they know us. They hear us. They see us. There's no hiding it. There's no denying it. That's what the main audience wants, and that's what the people want, because they're tired of all this circus act. And at this rate that we are right now, everything has led up to this. This is the end game, and on Friday is where everything completely concludes. And the DCU is done. It's done with the DCU. Once this tanks, people are coming out and saying, "Oh, but you have to also see, um, you know, just James Gunn has this plan for what he's gonna do." What plan? He doesn't have a plan. James Gunn doesn't go by plans. All James Gunn does is go by straight up copy and paste. That's his formula, and it's not working, honestly. What's going on? What up? What up? I'm here. This is interesting. Because honestly, this is just a fantastic time to be a DC fan, seeing both sides, of this fandom, of what the Snyderverse fans are about, and what the quote unquote James Gunn fans are. The majority, which is with Zack Snyder, and the minority, which is with James Gunn. And look, let's talk about that cameo that we saw on Rick and Morty, and it's floating all over the internet. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like, so what? Probably Zach just did it for a paycheck. It is what it is. And when I hear the thing real close, I'm like, that doesn't even sound like Zach. It sounds like if it's like AI, or it sounds like, like I don't know, I don't know. Just knowing WB, we all know how shady they are, So I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to pull those same stunts as always and things like that. So this is crazy, honestly. And yeah, I'm with you. You're happy. You're over your DC phase. Like I don't blame you. I don't blame a lot of people. People are just tired of all this nonsense, and people just want good quality films with DC. But they haven't been delivering, and this is gonna be proof. Once this movie tanks, this is gonna be done. Like they're gonna have to cancel everything. I'm telling you that that mean not Batgirl, Supergirl, that's gonna get canned. I'm telling you right now. This is why everything is depending on the future of Superman. This is why I'm telling you, keep your wallets locked starting now until the whole month of July. Go watch and rewatch Jurassic World Rebirth. Go out there and watch Fantastic Four next week. This weekend, take a vacation, save your money, go out there, spend it on other things that are much more enjoyable, entertaining, and most of all, that's more fun. You know, you don't even need to go watch this movie, honestly. We already know what it's going to be about. Like, you know, we've been calling it for a while. Everybody sees through the lies of WB. Enough is enough, Just keep your wallets locked and straight up don't support it anymore. And I do tell each and every one of you with that message because let's cut the fluff out. Let's just get right to the point. WB for far long has been milking each and every one of us. If you're tired as the fan, customer, and consumer of being milked and you feel that this company has been taking advantage of you for the longest because they don't want to give you what you want when it comes to quality and you don't settle for less because your taste bud is much better, then welcome because that's exactly what we're here for. We're trying to tell the studio, hey, you want to capitalize off of us. We don't have a problem, but do it how we want. Don't do it how you think you want, WB. And that's the mistake that they've had for years. Since the beginning, they've been getting around, screwing around with Zack Snyder and the whole DCEU and everything. And look at how that ended. But time after time, we came together and we proved to the studio, hey, this is what we wanted. When they put out Batman versus Superman, the theatrical cut, we fought and we got the ultimate cut, the rated R version, right? When David Ayer put out his movie, they still haven't given us the true vision of his. We're still fighting for the Ayer cut, release the Ayer cut. And WB once again put out the theatrical cut. And then even though they put out the theatrical cut, it still made money compared to what they're doing right now. So that tells you that they were onto something. Not only that, check this out also. After the studio put out the theatrical cut of the Studio Squad, they put out the unrated cut or whatever, the unrated version of whatever. It's a lot better compared to what they put on the theatrical cut. And that one is, it's not rated, but it's more on the rated R and stuff like that. So again, it's showing you that's what people want. When we got Justice League, what happened with that? We already know the mess, but that's the studio's fault. That's not Zack Snyder's fault. Zack did what he was supposed to do. Something happened and he had to step away. The studio wanted to move forward by bringing in Joss Whedon and then bringing in Walter Hamada, and now they're bringing in James Gunn, and nothing has been working. And it's proven already. Because when we saw Zack Snyder's Justice League when it released back in 2021, all the HBO Max servers crashed. That tells you that people were on there watching. They were excited. Even, critics and stuff, because they were there like, oh, I can't believe we actually have this. I'm curious. And they saw it. And then they came out, some of them, and admitted that, yeah, it was far superior compared to what we got. And we know that it's a global phenomenon because we saw that Pam Abdi, that she has said it. Or was it? No, I don't think it was her. It was somebody that had said a CEO or somebody from WB, and that's overseas. So that's telling you it's a global phenomenon. How does the studio not see that? They see that. They're aware of it. But again, them being stubborn has led them to where we are right now. And then again, everything is going to conclude on Friday because when they see that these tickets are not selling, like we're seeing the merchandise is not selling, what do you think that everything else is going to do? It's going to tank. This movie is going to tank at the box office. Jurassic World Rebirth already has the head start and it's already completely dominating the box office. And this is something that I had predicted a while ago. I told y'all, I was like, you're going to see that it's going to be a monster. And look, we're seeing it. It's the number one movie in the world. It's making over 300 million dollars. Think about that. That's a lot of money in today's economy. WB can't do that. That's the budget that they used to spend on Superman. I don't care what they tell us. It's already been leaked. It's already been out there. They spent over 300 millions on production for the Flush and that tanked. For now, this one that's Superman, and look at how bad that's looking. You can't convince us anymore. Like the damage is already done completely. And they have to accept it. WWE had something magical over the years, and they really screwed themselves over. Yeah, big time. They have literally, completely screwed themselves. This company has been taking advantage of us 40 years since Superman 3, and it's got to end soon. Yeah, everything ends on July 11th. That's what I'm telling y'all. That's exactly what it's come down to. And you can see it. David Ayer should release his cut. Yep, but James Gunn's not going to allow it because James Gunn doesn't like Jared Leto in real life, and they have personal problems. So you really think James Gunn's going to want to release the cut? No, he's not. Because as long as he's in power, he's like, I have control and I'm going to do this. But we're going to keep on fighting. So that's all that matters. Justice League. Never heard of it. Yeah, that's what we call it, Justice League, because it was a disaster. And we have the real vision now, which is Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that's what it all came down to. But we have it, and that's what matters. We have the final cut. I really want Fantastic Four to have a hit too. Yeah, compared that between Superman, for sure, Fantastic Four is they're gonna outdo them at the box office completely. It's an agenda driven. Yeah, we're seeing and hearing everything that's coming out today. And then on top of that, let's put the cherry on top. Let's not forget of what James Gunn said last week. Remember, he was offending. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna repeat it. It's out there. So, and then he came out the next day, try to change things up and kind of butter things up. Nah, the damage is already done, and people know it. People are onto this company, and there's complete. You can't redeem yourself. It's too late. James Gunn has done so much damage to the brand of the company that it's embarrassing. Every time he goes out and talks, I'm like, I'm cringing. I'm like, what is he gonna say now? I can only imagine what the executives at WB are saying every time they hear him and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Why would James Gunn keep clinging onto the past? Move on. Move on. Make your stuff. Yeah. All right. Truth, justice, and the American way. Yep. That's exactly what we're gonna be seeing pretty much in this movie. It's gonna be crazy, to see how now it's gonna be a political message movie. Told y'all, this is what we said all this a while ago. And there's right now, I guess, some news that came out. I forgot where. I don't know if it's LA or something. I shared the video on my I mean not Instagram, on Twitter, and the news report came out. And they're saying this movie is just straight up super woke, and they're making fun of it. So it's a political subliminal message type movie, and we've all seen that before it even got announced and stuff. I'm watching Superman Returns and Man of Steel on July 11th. Nice, nice. I was watching Man of Steel last night, and wow, just seeing that movie, what a masterpiece! What a masterpiece. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I was watching it with my lady, and she never saw it, and I was like, "Damn, how you not see this movie?" When the movie was done, she loved it. I was like, "What you think of it?" She loved it. It was amazing. And here we are. That's what 10, I mean 12, like 12 years later. And Man of Steel is aging like fine wine. Looking at it, I was like, wow. It's like, man, it just from beginning to end, it just has you on the edge of the seat, entertained. And it's like it's a very good origin story of Superman. It explains everything. It does everything within the vision of what Zack Snyder was creating, and it's just fulfilling. It's satisfying to see that. And it's just rewarding to see a good movie with good quality like that. And after 12 years, it's kind of hard to say that. Like there's not many movies out there that you can say that. It's a handful of movies and stuff. I've seen his old tweets. I know how sick James Gunn is. Yeah, we've all seen that. That's exactly why I'm telling everybody. I'm shit. I'm endorsing it. I'm telling you straight up. don't go watch Superman. Straight up. If you want the Snyderverse to make a comeback, this is how you take a stand and you firmly hold on to what you believe in. Because all these James Gunn shows and all these cultists are straight up barking up the tree. And they're doing the same thing like what they did when we were fighting for the Snyder Cut. But joke's on them because we had the Snyder Cut, and that's all that matters, you know. We actually have it, and that's what matters, you know. And just like that, we're gonna get the Snyderverse restored. I just watched Man of Steel. I'm gonna watch Batman vs Superman tomorrow. Nice, nice. Enjoy it. I know I'm gonna be watching it also. Um, all right. So this troll right here just got you earn yourself a delete on your comment. Play with me, like I said. All right. Let's see. Let's see. All right. I'm just trying to go down the comments and keep up with y'all and stuff like that. All right. What a mess. More like. Yep. Man of Steel is absolutely a masterpiece. Exactly. Exactly. All right. All the clowns that are trolling, I'm just completely removing comments. I'm not even wasting no time on that. I'm only staying to the positive, baby, because that's how we do it. This week is gonna be nothing but positivity, knowing what's around the corner, which is the return of the Snyderverse. Say what you want, cope and accept the reality. Because remember, the same thing was said when we were fighting for the Snyder Cut. And then what happens? Boom, we finally have it. What's going on, Ram Warrior? Appreciate you for tuning in. All right, so I see more little trolls that are starting to pop in. So, you know, like I said, I'm just deleting them because we have no time for that. All right, if Superman fails, there'll be no more live action superhero movies. There will also be no Snyder Cut. Come on, man. Just accept the reality. Accept the reality. You know that it's going to come back. Y'all just coping. Y'all can't deal with it. Straight up. Yeah, we got some trolls up in here. I'm trying to clean the comments as we go along. Let's see. All right, you like Henry Cavill's version of Superman? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, so apparently this I'm not even gonna say your name. You just earned yourself a ban. You're welcome. I'm telling y'all, play around. Straight up. F around and find out. And they're finding out. Go ahead and create your little fake accounts again. We will we ever see will we ever get a scene like Batman versus Superman warehouse fight again? This is the best fight scene in comic book cinema, hands down. Yeah. Once we get Zack Snyder back, then we're gonna see all that plus more. And we will, mark my words, we will in due time. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen tomorrow, it's gonna happen in due time, all right? We will see Ben Affleck's standalone feature film eventually. And when we do, we're going to see more of what we saw with that warehouse scene. Trust me, I have faith and I am firmly convinced that it's just a matter of time. And especially with the way that WB is right now, they need to redeem themselves. Because once Superman tanks, they're going to cancel and pull the plug on everything that James Gunn is trying to do. James Gunn said it that this movie depends the future of the DCU. Now, if the DCU tanks, what do you think WB is gonna do? They're gonna sit there with their arms crossed and be like, we're not gonna do anything. We're just gonna stick to video games, comic books, and you know, animations." No, because there's too much money to be made in live action. So they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. They're not gonna keep on spending and investing money on what James Gunn has been doing for the past 3 years. And next year, remember, in 2026, rumor has it his contract is going to be up and they don't want to renew it. So I'm telling you, time is running out. Time is ticking and it's running out. What's up? What's up, Aaron Johnson? Appreciate you for watching. All right, so I'm just going down the comments and reading y'all posts and things. We won't stop fighting for the DCEU. Hell yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we want, honestly. Ha ha ha. That troll was trying to comment, but guess what? You're blocked. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, yeah. That's how we do it. Y'all want to play? Let's play. All right. Like Michael Keaton said, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I like and appreciate this content. I like this video. Appreciate you, Jose. I know you be commenting all the time. I truly appreciate you, brother. Always tuning in and stuff like that. Since the beginning, I remember I've been seeing you for a while. Appreciate that. I really appreciate the support. Cavill will always be my Superman. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yes, indeed, my friend. That's exactly the real, true Superman. All right. I was looking at Zack Snyder Justice League concept art, and I like the Kilowog art better than the one from 2011. Yeah, you know what? That's dope. And what we got in 2011, look, I know a lot of people are not a fan of Green Lantern and what we got with that movie, but honestly, I liked it. I kind of enjoyed it, like I don't look at the jokes and the comedies. I just focus more on like the characters and stuff like that, and the animations and all that stuff. And they were pretty good for that time and stuff like that. And let's not forget that Zach was gonna bring, what's his name, Ryan Reynolds to reprise his role as Green Lantern. But of course, thanks to Toby Emmerich, and that whole we're gonna be working on our lantern show, so we can't let Zach use any Green Lanterns. That's why we ended up getting was a Martian Manhunter, but it worked out well. It worked out well because remember when they were promoting Justice League, this is before Joss Whedon ever came on board. When Zack Snyder was working on Justice League, the original plans, it was like they were marketing Unite the Seven. Remember, they had the six main core characters, and the seventh one was supposed to be Green Lantern, you know? But things changed, and then the studio literally screwed themselves, and it costed them double, literally. But it is what it is, and we finally have the Snyder cut, which is the beautiful part. Affleck will always be my Batman. The same with me. That's straight up the one and only true modern Batman. Besides Michael Keaton, Batman from today is for me still Ben Affleck. I want to see more Henry Cavill's version of Superman. We will, my friend. We will in due time. Just like we remember the quote from I can't remember right now exactly how it is, but the same, how what's his name? I'm like brain frozen right now. When he was like, "You're gonna meet him in the sun and stuff like that." The same thing. We're gonna see Henry Cavill back, and we will see Man of Steel 2 in due time. Trust me, my friends. We will see that in due time. I know some of you might be like, "Damn, I don't think it's gonna happen," and whatever you might be thinking, that's just negative thoughts. Look at the bright side. Always remember when they told us, and when I say they, I mean everybody, blue check marks. You had these shows, you had Ann Sarnoff, WB executives, CEOs, they're all out. And what do we have? The Snyder Cut. So that should be enough motivation to get you going and saying, you know what? You're onto something, CS. You really are, because here I am talking and staying positive, something that you don't see in a lot of channels anymore nowadays, because all you see is everybody going at it, because all this controversy and stuff like that. I don't got time for that. I'm just here for the mission. And the mission is for me to fight along with each and every one of you, just like we fought for the Snyder Cut. Next will be the restoration of the Snyderverse. This is why you're seeing all these James Gunn cultists coming out right now, because they're boiling inside out, and they know that they can't stop us. Because again, we will stop at nothing. And I've been saying that for over 2 years. And now this week, everything finally escalates to the big epic grand finale, if you want to call it. Because once we see those numbers on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, how they don't make what they're expecting, I'm telling you right now, stick a fork in it, pull the plug, it's done. Honestly, you've seen the Rick and Morty. Yeah, I was talking about the a few minutes ago and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Honestly, both WB and Disney are done next. Yeah, yeah, but WB can redeem themselves with DC if once they restore the Snyderverse. I'm gonna say how it is. Once they restore the Snyderverse, they're gonna restore. I mean, they're gonna redeem themselves. And honestly, that's what's coming. I'm telling you, there's no doubt that that's what's on the horizon. Because at the rate that WB is right now, they've been losing back to back, flop after flop. And I think this is the wake up call with Superman. Because they're gonna finally realize, hey, look, we brought in James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, and that still didn't get us the Marvel level. No, because we're DC fans and we loved what Zack Snyder was doing, what David Ayer was doing, and we liked that dark, brute, and strong tone that we were getting. It's proven by now. We don't want comedy. We don't want that cheesiness. We don't want raunchiness. We just want what Zack Snyder and David Ayer were doing, and that's what we want. I still believe the Snyder story will finish because I have faith. Exactly, my friend. That's exactly what we need, faith. Faith and a lot of patience and endurance. Those are the key words that we need. Something that people don't really like to talk about nowadays because it is what it is. But what can we do? How do you feel about independent horror films like Sixth Sense, Split, FNAF, for example? They're good. I mean, I know the one from which is the one with that clown. I can't remember. Art the Clown, the Terrifier. I know that's independent. Look how big they gone. Like they made it to the theaters, which is good for them. But now what I've been hearing is that it's getting a little bit too much, like out of control, in the sense that like that it's not what it used to be. So I mean, there's a lot of good talent out there, honestly. Like I've seen some independent stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty dope. Like I'm a Resident Evil fan, and there's a Resident Evil short, like literally probably like maybe like 10 minutes long or less. And what they did with that, like straight up, that dude knows what he's doing, and that's what I want to see in a Resident Evil movie. And sometimes the fans are much better than what these studios with millions of dollars can do. It's impressive. So I really like indie filmmaking, and to be honest with you, at the rate that we're going, the future is going to be independent, like we're seeing with music labels and everything. This is why you see a lot of influencers. Everybody's becoming a brand. You got TikTokers, influencers, whatever you want to call them. That's what this is all becoming and stuff like that. So that's what the future is going to be. All right. I already have it planned, and I'm going to see Jurassic World Rebirth again. Yeah, the same with me. I have to go see it again. I love that movie, honestly. Besides the after the intro, those first like 35 minutes, like I told you, that it was kind of boring that they talk. Once they get on that boat, straight up is on from there to the end. And I like what they're setting up. They're setting up something very nice, and that's exactly what WB was doing when Zack Snyder was there doing the DCEU. Zack had a plan. Zack has a plan, and Zack still has a plan that nobody knows about. None of us here, none of us, all right? None of us know what the plans are for what Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 are. Okay, we know what's already out there, but probably Zack went back and said, you know what? Let me fix this, let me change this, and we don't know what's in there. And I love that. I love that we do not know nothing about that. And that's how it should be, because you don't want to give your competitors any ideas. And Zach has something cooking, and I'm here for it, honestly. And right now, Zach is going to start filming that UFC movie. He put up a picture, I think it was on Vero, I'm not sure. And people are sharing it. And he's like back in the office or something like that. And I know they're going to start filming that real soon. So, like I'm excited to see that, honestly, and it should be good and stuff like that. So Green Lantern's your favorite DC movie, especially the extended cut. Yeah, I think I have the extended cut also. I just can't remember right now. I know I have it on Blu-ray and DVD or whatever. I'm gonna have to go check that out also. The true DCU must return. Indeed, my friend, it will return, and that's gonna be with Zack Snyder and David Ayer. And we already know that Zack is back for that 300. But of course, he's busy right now. That's that movie, the UFC that he's doing, and then he has the LAPD, and then after that, I think he's going to be picking up again with Rebel Moon, because remember, Rebel Moon is still on pause. It's not done. He has more. So, yeah, to everybody that's saying that it was a flop, nah, they're still making money with that, and that's all that matters. There was a video game based on Green Lantern movie. It was good. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I've seen it a while ago, but I never played it, honestly. James Gunn Superman doesn't need to make money, Gunn says. Yeah, that's true. He said that himself. So he's trying to tell you, hey, it's okay if it flops because it doesn't matter. Incredible. The first movie in history that doesn't want to make money. Exactly. I agree with you, my friend. How the hell do you go into this industry and say, hey, you know what? It's not about making money. I just want to go ahead and leave my legacy. And his legacy is going to be this disaster when we look back at it. Because if you want to just be in this industry and pretty much not worry about money, then go work for charity. Honestly, I'm just being real. If you don't want to make money, you're in the wrong field. Honestly. Shit, call me up, WB. I'll fix your universe ASAP, straight up. But you know what? Better not, because the ideas that I have for your DCU, whatever universe you want to do, guess what? I'm gonna use that in my comic book that I'm currently working on. I'm gonna show you how it's done. You're gonna see how it is done. It's supposed to be done. All right, July 11th, I'll be going to see Jurassic World Rebirth again. All right, cool, cool, cool. I'm still planning to see Jurassic World Reaper. Go watch it. Don't plan it. Just go do it. Watch it. Trust me, you're gonna like it. I'll see the non-online trailer before the movie. Yeah, if you like the Jurassic Park 3 and Fallen Kingdom, it's pretty much those two mashed into one. You're gonna enjoy it. It's a fun movie, honestly. I don't know why all these people are coming out talking negative. I guess they're just salty about it. Green Lantern 2011 was great compared to MCU and the garbage WB is doing. Yeah, big time, big time. All right, let's see. Mark, was it Mark Strong was born to play Sinestro? Yeah, he was good. Even though I'm not really familiar with those characters, like everything on him, like the makeup and special effects, all that stuff, that was dope. I really like that, honestly. That's what I care about when it comes to these characters. I want them to actually look like it. They don't have to be 100%, but as long as it looks good and it just wow, it gets my attention, then we're talking. I really wanted to see New Gods movie, but they canceled it. I could imagine if Snyder directs it. All right, let me add something to that. We all wanted to see the New Gods movie, and yes, they did cancel it. All right, but here's the big but. Once Zack Snyder is back, don't think that this is going to be off the table, my friend. This is coming back on the table because we're talking about Dark Side on this story and whatever has to come with that. That's all I care about. Dark Side. So you think that we won't see that? Hell yeah, my friend. We are going to see New Gods, but we're going to see it under the vision and the direction of Zack Snyder. Because I'm telling you, once all this comes back and WB is forced to restore the Snyderverse, because they're not going to want to sell. Let's be real. WB has so much pride and ego that they're going to be like, you know what? Let's just restore the Snyderverse because that's what finally worked. Exactly. The same way that we got them to give us the Snyder Cut. So if we got them to give us the Snyder Cut peacefully, then what do you think, that the Snyderverse isn't going to get restored? Of course it is. Only the ones that are salty and bitter and are coping are the ones that are crying right now and complaining, saying, "Oh, let it go and move on." It's the same thing that they were saying for the Snyder Cut. What, a few years ago? But we have it. So we will see New Gods under the leadership of Zack Snyder. You'll see, my friends. You will see how that's going to change, and it's going to completely sweep everybody like off their feet. We're a Rob Ben Affleck solo film that would have taken my money. Oh, we're gonna see that eventually. Trust me, we will see that eventually. Things are going to change once this Superman tanks. This is why I'm telling you it's very important. This is why I'm telling y'all keep on using the hashtag of Restore the Snyderverse. That's sending a big message. It was trending yesterday. That's pretty crazy. And there's no trending event going on, but that's just showing you where the attention is at. So I don't see James Gunn's Superman trending. I don't see the DCU trending, but I keep seeing posts constantly of Restore the Snyderverse, which is beautiful. The Flash is overhated. I loved it. If only Batfleck got to interact with Keaton. Yeah, that's what they should have done. But of course, James Gunn, he loves to give his notes. That's why that movie turned out the way it is. The only time you will get the Snyderverse is only when WB is sold off. If not, they will not do it. No, no, false, my friend. False, false. I have to correct you on that because the same thing or something similar was said about the Snyder Cut. You remember when everybody was saying, oh, and including Ann Sarnoff, the CEO of WB at the time, that she was like, we want to thank Zack Snyder for his trilogy and what he's done. First of all, let's stop there. What trilogy? What trilogy? Because all I'm seeing is straight up Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel. I don't see a Ben Affleck standalone movie. What trilogy is this lady talking about? What? And then we got the Snyder Cut. Come on. Remember when she was like, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna continue and do anything with it," and then what happens? Boom, she's out, and we got the Snyder Cut. So again, so when people say, "Oh no," when it's sold off, it's not going to get sold off. That's what I just said right now. The studio is so stubborn and hard headed that they would rather say, you know what? Let's just restore the Snyderverse. Let's give the fans what they want. They're going to have to swallow their pride like they did with the Snyder Cut. And this is why they regret putting out the Snyder Cut. Not that it's a bad thing. WB regrets putting out the Snyder Cut because let's put ourselves in their position. If you know that you've been wrong all along and you're finally proven wrong, how are you going to feel? You're going to feel all type of emotions and you're going to be feeling some kind of way. You're going to be straight up like the meme, emotional damage. You know why? Because you've been proven wrong. And that's exactly what's happening with the studio. We proved the studio that after all this time, you should have just given us what we wanted. And therefore, the same way that you had to give us the Snyder cut, now you regret it because you know you'll never reach that level of quality again unless you bring Zack Snyder. That's the only way you achieve that, by bringing Zack back and doing what was already there. Notice that Zack Snyder raised the bar so high that James Gunn can't reach to that level. And he knows it. He's even admitted it. He's like, I can't deliver what he's doing. This is why you see these little cameos. They're talking to us subliminal messages. That Rick and Morty scene, go watch it. Watch it 100 times and pay attention close to it. It's straight up telling you how James Gunn feels. He's never going to be like Zack Snyder. That's the difference. So when it comes to it, yeah, that's exactly what it is. We'll get it. We are going to get it. What's going on? Appreciate you for watching, Ariana. Yes, Henry Cavill Superman. I know you're a big fan of Henry Cavill. Good, good. I know a lot of us are. So that's the beautiful part of it. Oh man, I'm like scrolling down the comments. Damn, y'all really on a roll. I'm backed up. Let me try to catch up. Y'all, hold on. Let me try to catch up. All right, so the scene with Superman rise before Steppenwolf swings his axe, hits Cyborg. Superman didn't even flinch and destroy his axe with ease. Super Super Soy is getting slammed left and right, dead on arrival. Yeah, exactly. With the whole not impressed, for real. Affleck is superior to Bill Pattinson, big time, big time. I agree with you on that. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman, exactly. She is Wonder Woman. Honestly. All right, July 11, everyone will see Jurassic World Rebirth. Hell yeah. And we will trend also with Restore the Snyderverse because that's the point of this whole movement and this fight that we've been going at it for all these years, if you want to say. My only problem with the Flash movie is young Barry Varian. They really should have brought in Grant Gustin to help Ezra. Yeah, they were going to do that, but again, remember, James Gunn gave notes to Andy Muschietti. That tells you everything. Because remember, in the CW show, we got Ezra along with Grant when they were already opening the multiverse. And this was way before even Spider Man No Way Home did it. But WB sat on a gold mine and they straight up didn't do anything with it. What a shame. But, in due time, we will be getting it. July 11, let's crash HBO Max by watching Man of Steel. Nice. It's on HBO Max. All right, cool. Say no more. We're gonna have to watch it. So for sure, like straight up go out there and watch it, and let's show the studio what we want exactly. The pop is going to be insane when we get the Snyderverse back. Yeah, for sure. Look, if we got Michael Bay back and he's coming back for the Transformers Bayverse, Bayformers and all that goodness, yo, let's go. Let's go. That's how you do it. Straight up. Why would Marvel be bringing back the Russo brothers? Because they know that they make money. So in the end, that's all what it's all about. It's about making money. But then again, now you have James Gunn talking about it's not about the money. How the hell are you gonna be like it's not? It's not about the money. He's just trying to justify it. He knows that those tickets didn't sell. He knows that nobody wants to watch it. Would you say being a Snyder fan is sort of a religious experience? No, this has nothing to do with religion, and it has nothing to do with nothing of that. Honestly, it's just that we like his work. I'm gonna be real with you. I like Zack Snyder, his work, and I don't know him personally, but his work when it comes to the movies, I love his work. I don't love everything because, like I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again. I'm a Zack Snyder fan, but I did not. Let me repeat that. I did not like Army of the Dead, and I'm a huge zombie fan. I didn't like Army of the Dead, and I love what is it, Dawn of the Dead that he did, and I understand that was with James Gunn and stuff, but I love that movie. They both worked on it. Cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But Army of the Dead, nah, that wasn't for me, honestly. But nah, we're not a religious. We're not nothing like that. So nah, like I don't worship the dude, and I don't consider him like no god or anything. So I'm just being honest with you. I just love Zack Snyder's work. It would be cool to one day meet him and stuff like that. But he's just like us. He's just a human. Just some people like to push it and say, "Oh, you like to idolize him." No, but look at the picture that I posted up with the most recent video. You have fans bowing down in front of a Superman from James Gunn, but then they call us and want to label us as quote unquote religious or we're a cult. Come on, come on. See what I'm saying? I'm seeing some YouTubers who were on the Snyderverse trying to be in the middle to please both sides. One of them clearly said Cavill ain't coming back. I can't wait to see their excuse when Zach is back. Yeah, let me be real with y'all. Look, to clarify this, all right? I love DC. I love the brand DC more than I do with Marvel. I really prefer and I loved what Zack Snyder was giving us with the cinematic universe. I do not like what James Gunn has been doing since the beginning, which is the Suicide Squad. You can see the difference. A Zack Snyder movie versus a James Gunn movie. It's clear, like day and night. I'll be real with you. I stand and I want more of what Zack Snyder was giving us. I do not want what James Gunn has been giving us. It's not working. It's not for me. And many fans feel the same way. So, with that being said, can you like both? Yeah, you can. But do I want both? No. That's the difference. Because if I want what Zack Snyder is doing, I want what he's doing, his vision. I don't want what James Gunn is doing. And we've clearly seen what James Gunn's influence can do to what Zack Snyder has created when we saw with The Flash. The Flash, we saw Ben Affleck being arrogant. He has an ego when he told Alfred, or when he told Wonder Woman, "Oh, I can't say sorry because my ego is far too big." Come on, that's not Bruce Wayne. That's not Batman. Like he's not disrespectful like that. Making him joke around and laugh and smiling. That's what James Gunn did. That's what Andy Muschietti did, and it's not working. That's not working, and this Superman is not going to work. Everything with James Gunn is a joke, and he's even said it. He doesn't care about these characters. On the other hand, Zack Snyder takes these characters with the mythology, the history. He adds his own touch, his own style, his own flavor, and we get that goodness. And that's what I want. I love that. I love that he makes these characters, even though they're not comic accurate, I don't care. That's what I love. He's giving us something new, something different, something unique. That's the same thing like how Michael Bay did with the Transformers. You have some Transformers fans, including myself, that are like, oh, it's not like the source material. Oh, it's not just like how it's supposed to be. Yo, I don't care. I like what he's doing. He's making me believe that these characters are real. Like I could believe this. Like, yo, I could think that there's a real Transformer coming to Earth, and it's gonna be just like what we're seeing in those movies from Michael Bay. The same thing with Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder took these characters that are cartoon comic characters and brought them to life. He didn't bring them like Christopher Nolan, and that's what I like because it still has that comic book feel. It still feels like if it could be happening in the real world, and it makes you wonder, damn, that could really be happening out there. See what I'm saying? And the same thing we're seeing now with Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth is showing you, hey, these dinosaurs are in their natural habitat. They're gonna attack and do what they have to do because they're defending themselves. That's the same thing. Like if you go into the lion's den, you can't go into the lion's den in a cage and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna toy around and play with you and hit you and act like there's no consequences." You're messing around with a ferocious animal, and that animal is going to attack because even if you get let's put for example a little small cute hamster, keep messing around with the hamster, poking it, that hamster's going to get mad and eventually it's going to bite you because it's just defending itself. And that's the same thing we're seeing with these movies. It's just their natural habitat with these dinosaurs in Jurassic World. And what Zack Snyder was giving us with these characters from comic books brought into the real world. Superman is a god. Wonder Woman is a god. The Flash, he's not a god, but he has abilities. So I mean, he's meta-human. You have Cyborg, you have all these things, and it's like, damn, damn, okay, I like what he's doing. Look at how he took Darkseid. Darkseid, we're talking about the biggest threat in DC. He was already building up and setting up the fight between the Justice League, eventually to face off Darkseid. And when we see in Zack Snyder's Justice League in the epilogue scene, the evil one, the bad one, has taken over. And we saw the same thing similar in what Marvel did with Avengers. With Thanos, he finally wins. So it makes you think, all right, what are these villains could be in a real world setting? And that's what I love about this. And it just brings it just takes everything to a whole new level. And it's just awesome. Snyder did Cyborg Justice in Snyder Cut. He displayed how powerful he is. Yeah, big time, big time. And that was one big thing that I really liked with what they did with him. And let's not forget, Cyborg was supposed to come back, and he was going to be part of the Flash. But remember that fallout that he had with Walter Hamada, and all the drama and stuff. So he decided to step away. That's why he was putting all the accountability over entertainment and stuff like that. And it's a shame we didn't get him in that movie. But in due time, like I said, we will see all of this, and things are gonna get fixed. Trust me when I say that. You will see eventually is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. The same how we got with the Snyder Cut. I'm a DC guy. I like it dark and gritty. Yeah, exactly. If we go back to Batman '89, that movie's dark and gritty. Batman Returns is dark and gritty. And then things start going down when they moved over to Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. Look at how that turned out at the box office. The whole Schumacher films. It was a joke. It literally was, but it is what it is. The investors are not pleased with where WB is going. Yeah, the investors are pissed. They are very, very upset. So, it's pretty bad. Marvel only work, Marvel only work was due in part like Paul Marker and John Frame, who was the true maker of the MCU. Now Kevin Feige. I'm not familiar with that, so I really can't even respond to that. Next year, there's a new Resident Evil movie. Yeah, Zach is Zach Kreger is directing it. Yeah, that's the director that I was telling y'all about. He has a movie on Tubi, and it's creepy as hell. And that straight up, when I saw it, I was like, that gives me a lot of Resident Evil vibes. Before I even knew he was gonna be directing the next Resident Evil movie, and I'll be real with you. Oh man, just talking about this is giving me chills because I'm excited for that. I really can't wait. I know a lot of people didn't like Welcome to Raccoon City. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's the most close thing that we have to the actual games, but it still has its screw ups. But it's a guilty pleasure film of mine, honestly. So let's see. Sean, what up? What up? Appreciate you for watching. Also, I'm trying to catch up to y'all comments, but damn, y'all going all the way down. Damn, I'm backed up. I know. Part of me, I'm just trying to catch up. Zack Snyder is the greatest comic book director of all. His DCU movies are fantastic. Ain't nobody want a goofy MCU Christopher Reeves tone standalone nonsense like Joaquin Phoenix and Pattinson. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Quality speaks on its own, and that's what we want. Honestly, you love Jurassic World Rebirth. You just watch it in theaters. Nice, nice, Jose. That was dope. Yeah, it's a good movie. I gotta go watch it again. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth, yeah, you gotta see it. Honestly, you have to. Gun Superman is basically Disney Superman. Yeah, that's true. It really is. And his DCU is just MCU 2.0. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, Snyder's also doing the LAPD. That's true, honestly. That's the next one that he's gonna be working on after that UFC movie that he's about to start and things like that. So, thoughts on Mummy trilogy with Brandon Fraser? Brandon Fraser was good. Those movies were okay for its time, and I don't know if some of y'all saw when the leak of Batgirl came out that Brandon Fraser was dressed up as Firefly and Batgirl was fighting some of his goons. That leak was removed from the internet quick. I saw it like probably like maybe like my time like 1:30 in the morning that somebody had tagged me on it, and I was like, damn, like I was like, yo, what? Like it was probably like a little like 15-second or 18-second clip, and I was like, damn, what is WB hiding from us? And I'm telling you right now, that whole thing of David Zaslav saying that they canceled Batgirl was straight up BS. That's just him using it so he can do a tax write off because they know that there's something good in there. And it was like James Gunn said, oh, he didn't want to build towards something that he didn't want to, like, in other words, give false hope. Like that's why he didn't bring in Ben Affleck at the end of the Flash and stuff like that because he just straight up ended everything in midair. But jokes on him because we'll get him this Friday at the box office when we keep our wallets physical and digital locked because they're not going to get a penny from us, honestly. Jurassic World Rebirth has so much holes in the plot, but it doesn't matter. I will still support that movie over James Gunn's Superman. Yeah, but those plot holes are probably going to get filled in the next movie because on this one, it was so much going on. So there was really no time for that. And I'm okay with that, honestly. So in the next one, for sure, they're probably going to go back and explain some stuff. So that's going to be good on that stuff. By the way, FNA is a short for Five Nights at Freddy's. I didn't know that. Oh, okay, all right. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm gonna be real with you. I like that movie. That movie was pretty good. I'm looking forward to the next one. I know they're gonna start soon or something like that that they announced recently. But yeah, I want to see that one also too. So the first one was good. Did your theater show a trailer for Jaws 50th anniversary? Mine did while seeing Jurassic World Rebirth. Just see. When I got to the theaters, I'll be real with you. I was in a rush because they upgraded our movie to 3D, and I had no clue. So I had to literally, after I sat down all the way in the top, I had to run down, go get my glasses. I told the guy in the front, "Hey, the movie looks a little blurred. What's up? Can you fix it?" He's like, "Nah, I upgraded everybody to 3D, so here's the glasses." So I missed pretty much like all of the trailers. So I was like, yo, whatever. So yeah, I didn't catch the trailers and stuff like that. But on the next one, I'll be there, earlier so I can see it and stuff. I've only seen the original Jurassic Park trilogy. I haven't seen any of the other films. You have to watch them. You have to watch them. You don't have to watch it in order to understand Rebirth. Just know that Rebirth takes place before the first Jurassic Park movie and before Jurassic World. So it's the first movie you want to watch before everything else. So if that's gonna make it easier for you, then you can just go with that mind of what to expect with that movie. James Gunn, give me 1 second while I drink some water. James Gunn came straight from Traumaville. Trauma was known for making cheap movies that never made never made money. Yeah, it's like that's I don't get it. I really don't get how the studio hired him to do what. It's just a desperation of the studio that they were like, you know what, we're gonna try to capitalize on what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy, but it didn't work. Darkseid was a badass. Yeah, he's a badass, and he's still out there. That's a good thing. So that James Gunn can't erase that, honestly. So I'm telling y'all, everything depends on Superman to flop this weekend. We should have gotten a direct sequel to Zack's Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, we were supposed to, but I think they gave it to somebody else, and it was like a cheaper version. But yeah, it's a shame, you know. WB wanted Ava DuVernay to direct the New Gods. Thank goodness that didn't happen. Yeah, yeah, they probably saw something and they were like, nah, you know what, that's not gonna happen. So I'm good. I'm good. They didn't do that, but as soon as we get the Snyderverse restored with Zack in charge, things are gonna shift and change for the good. Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, and Zack Snyder will trend more than Gunn and Cornball Sweat when the movie releases. Yeah, it's already starting to. We're already building excitement, so that's the good thing. Winning, Pedro. What up? What up? Hell yes, you already know it. Restore Snyderverse and Airverse. Hell yeah, hell yeah. We're gonna see it in due time. All right, New Gods will be perfect for Zack Snyder. We got a glimpse of the side, Granny Goodness, Dark Side, etc. I want to see Snyder's badass take on a Orion, Barda, and the Furies. Yeah, yeah. What he does, I can't wait. Honestly, there's gonna be so much that I'm telling you straight up. The moment that WB announces, hey, Zack Snyder's back and we're gonna be doing more DC with him, oh, that's it. It's over. It's game over. Honestly, like I'm telling you. And then you're gonna have the James Gunn fans doing backflips of how like they're gonna be coping. My biggest right now is Disney, but alone. All right, let's see. The company will be embarrassed. Mighty and these fake clowns, fans and YouTubers are gonna be forced to apologize. Yeah, they're gonna see that we were right all along and they were wrong all along. We also got a glimpse of old gods with Zeus, Ares, etc. True, exactly. I'm telling you, what Zack Snyder has built, like they straight up, they couldn't top it off. They couldn't top it off, and it is what it is. But here we are. Here we are. All right, this one. Let me see. This is interesting. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna just scroll all the way down. So pardon me if I skip some of the things, but I'm just trying to catch up with y'all and stuff like this. All right, let me see. I'm gonna start from. Let me see. All right, from here. All right, so we have. I enjoy all the Jurassic films, even though the Lost World is my least favorite. That's cool. That's all good. All right. Sell Snyderverse to Amazon? Nah, that's not gonna happen. And I won't even say let's do that because it defeats the purpose. And I get it. Some people want, they just want the whole Snyderverse to be sold off. It's not gonna happen. Sorry to bust that bubble. It's just not going to happen. The IP of DC is just too big on its own for HBO Max to not be able to capitalize on their streaming service, and that's where I think that they're heading and they're fixing. And like I've been telling y'all, a lot of y'all are still sleeping. Wake up, my friends. Comcast is coming into play in 2026, starting in January. We are literally like probably like 6 or 7 months away from that because we're already in July, middle of July. So straight up, we're half through the year. That's what I'm telling y'all. Something is going to happen, and things are going to keep on changing from here on out, and you're going to start seeing it. It seems like super shit flops our next mission to flop Supergirl. Yeah, I think Supergirl is going to end up like what do you call it, Batgirl. It's going to get they're going to axe it. They're straight up going to can that movie and just be like, you know what, we're not even moving forward with it, because if Superman isn't able to bring in the numbers and the money that they're expecting, yeah, Supergirl's not even gonna get off the ground, honestly. So that's gonna tell you a lot with that. All right, Snyder could have done an awesome comic accurate Guardians of the Galaxy movie based on Annihilation. The comics is highly recommended. It is awesome. Dirty Dozen meets Farscape. Nice. I guess if that's what GOTG is, maybe I'm not sure, but yeah, what Zach does, he just puts out some good stuff. So again, in due time, we're gonna be seeing all these changes and things. Gunn's gonna have an awakening. He will understand after all the shitty movie flops. He's a shitty director. Yeah, he knows it. You know, he straight up knows it and stuff like that. Watching Jurassic World for the fourth time Sunday. Wallet's fully open for this Fantastic Four. Support the destruction. Yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. You know, like completely. Let me see. I'm just going down, just trying to catch up. All right, let's see. Your dad showed you Jurassic Park 3 when you were little. That was my favorite introduction to the franchise. He had it on VHS, by the way. Nice. I still have my first Jurassic Park movie on VHS, and the same thing with Batman Returns. I was literally looking through some stuff yesterday. I was like, oh, damn, I forgot that I had these. And it was nice to see that, you know. Besides the nostalgia, I was like, damn, you know, like the VHS. I don't even have a VHS, but I still have the tapes. But that shows you how much I've been a fan of that brand from, you know, Jurassic Park and DC Batman since, you know, straight up that's when I was a little kid, so that tells you a lot. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I did see the Rick and Morty thing. It's floating all over the internet and things like that. So it's pretty wild. But look, honestly, like I said, you know, like I'm gonna take the last few minutes and just talk about this mainly. Look, our goal is for this week to keep on using the hashtag restore the Snyderverse. The studio is aware, they're seeing it, the executives, everybody is seeing it and they're aware of it. When you get a chance, use the hashtag. Use it throughout the day. If you can do it morning, you know, during the midday and at the end of the day, 3 times a day, I'm telling you right now, this is going to get the algorithm going even more. People are aware of it, people are using it. I'm starting to see it all over social media. And that's the beautiful part about this, because us united together, we fought for the Snyder Cut when everybody was against us. We held it together and we stayed united, and we have the Snyder Cut. That alone should motivate you. Every time you feel discouraged and you feel like giving up and saying this is not even worth fighting for, if you have the physical or digital copy, or if you don't have either one and you just seen the Snyder Cut on HBO Max, just know that even if you use one time the hashtag of during the time of release the Snyder Cut, you're part of history, my friends. You made that possible, because while everybody was against us and barking and saying everything negative to give up and to move on, we refused to do that. And because we are here still going at it and still defending what we believe in, justice always wins in the end. And in the end, the same way we got the Snyder Cut, we too are going to get the Snyderverse restored. Have faith, my friends. Don't give up. All of these James Gunn cultists do not have faith. They just go by what they're seeing. They don't go by faith. We do. I'm telling you straight up. I can see the Snyderverse coming back. I can see the return of Zack Snyder. I see the return of David Ayer. It's all there already, my friends. It's all right before us. And in due time, the same way that we made it possible and we unlocked, if you want to say, an achievement of the Snyder Cut, we too will get the Snyderverse restored. It's just a matter of time. But that's all the time I have, my friends. I appreciate y'all for watching, for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe, share the videos, all that good stuff. It helps the algorithm and all that good stuff. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. And like I said, we will stop at nothing. More videos will be coming this week. And as we get closer to Friday, of course, exposing WB with all their shenanigans. As always, y'all have a good one. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for watching. And until next time, my friends, peace.